Because of that, I sent Goto to capture the girl.
This week on Dark Corners, Paul Naschy's been out shopping. The police take a refreshingly honest approach to the script.
I'm afraid our visit won't clarify anything.
And they know how to drink in Austria. Paul Naschy's Hunchback of the Morgue is a mashup of The Hunchback of Notre Dame and the untold backstory of Frankenstein's assistant, Fritz. Hunchback's morgue assistant, Goto, is mocked by the townspeople.
Get out of here, you abortion of the devil! Your fox face turns my guts!
His co-workers.
You know that the students have a special dislike for your baboon face.
Children. Even the doctors at the hospital where he works. The only person who treats him well is childhood friend Ilsa, currently in hospital.
She hasn't got much chance, has she?
None whatsoever.
And before long...
I can see many, many flowers. Such lovely flowers.
She just passed away. If you'd arrived a moment earlier, you would have seen her before she died.
Rub it in, why don't you? Paul Naschy characters are typically a miserable bunch, but Goto has good reason to be.
Prepare for the dissection room.
Hey, Ludwig, a gold chain. This cold cut doesn't need it any longer.
And I don't think anyone would blame him for lashing out. He takes Ilsa's body to what appears to be a medieval torture chamber, where he hides from the police.
We must find this hunchback as soon as possible.
It's not the ideal hiding place.
Out! I should have left you alone. But here, no one will bother you.
You'll be comfortable on the rack. Goto believes Ilsa is merely sick and tries to get help from his old boss.
Ilsa's sleeping. I know that you're the only one that might be able to wake her.
That seems optimistic.
I promise you I will, Goto.
Wildly optimistic.
It's not easy to do what you've asked me.
No kidding. It turns out that Dr. Orla has an agenda of his own.
For the first time in the history of humanity, we can create artificial life.
There you are. This could be how Frankenstein and Fritz got together. Goto providing Orla with a secret place to work.
A subterranean cave.
Not one of those above-ground caves.
During the last World War, escaping Jews used it as a temporary refuge.
Naturally, they kept the rack. This week's episode of Dark Corners is brought to you by Chekhov's acid baths. Installing one is a virtual guarantee of how you're going to die in the final act. Chekhov's acid baths. We don't get a lot of repeat business. Things don't go quite according to plan as Orla's hired help objects to the smell of Ilsa. Goto does not take this in good humour.
You killed my friend! Killers!
Are you crazy?
No! It was real! No!
And the doctor is left suddenly short-staffed just when things were going well.
It's evident that we've been able to arrive at the most important period. No doubt whatsoever.
Is that vague enough for you?
Everything will resolve itself in its own time.
All we know about his creation is it's hungry. Orla's assistant is fellow doctor Tauchner, who is in this for the good of science, despite the misgivings of his girlfriend, Eva.
Yes, he's a great scientist who destroys anything and anyone who gets in his way.
Who runs the reformatory next door, which, to be honest, has problems of its own.
That's enough! It's evident we'll have to separate you two.
Deputy Director Elke is Goto's only other friend.
Tomorrow it'll be better.
Orla's employment problem gets worse.
I don't want to go on working here.
Please consider this my 3 weeks' notice. With Ilsa gone, he no longer sees the point, but Orla can't afford to lose him.
You shouldn't be so sad, Goto. Soon you'll be having a new Ilsa.
Yes, that's it. As long as Goto believes Orla's lies, he is blindly loyal. Stealing the head of Peter Cushing. But he is seen and hides out at Elke's.
Do you really think you should be here at this hour?
And is that a severed head? But perhaps Elke is more than a friend.
Once in a while, faithfulness and love surpass beauty.
Isn't it funny how all these films are about beautiful women overcoming their aversion to physically unappealing men, while the men remain utterly fixated on beautiful women. Wow, the head in a bag is usually a deal breaker. Back at the lab, it's all coming together. Orla and Goto continue to ape Frankenstein.
You see, Goto, how the most insignificant person can be of use to science and to humanity.
Thanks. But Orla still has power over Goto.
But you, Goto, you need a new Ilsa, and that requires fresh cadavers.
To be honest, I had something different in mind. His creation is outgrowing its tank.
It's at the point of transformation. It's broken the tank, Goto. It broke it in 1,000,000 pieces.
If only you could see it. It's so impressive.
That's horrible. It's completely devoured her.
They keep doing this.
It's the most incredible thing you might imagine, but there it is.
Why, to realize it on film would cost a fortune. But after a conversation with Eva,
How many people must have died for the success of Orla?
Taukner is having second thoughts.
How many persons, dead or alive, have ended up in that tank only to serve your hallucinations on megalomania?
The ethical implications are obvious now that my girlfriend has explained them to me. So Orla locks him up. Eva confronts Orla, who explains the next phase of his plan.
It's absolutely necessary for me to obtain the flesh of live human beings in abundance.
But from where?
And because of that, I've elected your reformatory. The girls you have there are garbage, and no one will miss them.
Plus it's just next door. Very convenient. Eva too is locked up, while Goto carries out the plan. Which doesn't seem to affect his burgeoning relationship with Elke. Nor does it seem to bother the police.
You know, that girl might have simply ran away.
And anyway, who cares? She's garbage. So the harvesting continues. Security here is really lax. 2 at a time, that's the way, then I'm not forever going back and forth. But no matter how much it eats... Is it possible I've made an error? The creature has developed in ways Orla didn't expect.
It was a being that habitated the Earth much earlier than man.
No one was more surprised than me. It just needs more to eat, and Elke has come looking for Goto.
It's a woman in the passageway.
Did somebody say just eat? But Goto has a fit of conscience.
No, not her.
The others were garbage. This one lets me do her. Pretty selective conscience, but he frees the prisoners who rescue Elke. And finally, the creature is revealed to be a cross between Star Trek's Armus and Scooby-Doo's Mud Monster. With predictable results.
Where is Goto?
Even when he's a hunchbacked body snatcher with shades of necrophilia, women are still left tragically lusting for Paul Naschy.
A very interesting story, but it's absolutely unimportant to me.
Thanks for watching. Please sever the head of the like button. Do you prefer Paul Naschy as Werewolf or some other horror role? Let us know in the comments below.
You never thought that your end would be a pile of meat.